Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Adventure Incorporated podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Anthony Reed. This is episode 142 and the fifth part of the Homecoming story arc. This week, just a reminder that if you have iTunes or Stitcher or Burberry or whatever service you use to download our podcast, just give us a 5-star review in it. Just a few words, and those 5 stars go a long way to make sure more people get a chance to see the show. It helps spread the word. You know, we rely on you guys for that, so we really appreciate all the work you've done so far, and if you haven't given us a 5-star review, maybe now's the time. This episode is brought to you by Graydon and patrons like them. Head over to patreon.com/adventure Inc. This week, our patrons got the video feed from the Tavern Night sent to them, so they have that as a special bonus to them for making that Tavern Night happen. So there's always cool things going up there, some of which are part of the regular rewards, and some of which are complete surprises. So go ahead and become a patron, check it out, there's all kinds of cool stuff there. That's all this week. Let's get started. Nobles and farmers, knights and wenches, gather round to hear a tale of excitement and mystery. Brave adventurers facing grave dangers. Keth, the fighter monk.
Guys, there's a lot of puppy in this cloak. I needed to say it.
What?
Jennuvera, the sorcerer. Jennuvera, you're sitting there next to Clyde, who just goes, "What the fuck?"
I hold up my hand for a high five.
Gebetto, the rogue. As soon as they see the 5 of you, their expression hardens.
Well, we'll see you later. And Gebetto just turns.
Gillik, the paladin warlock.
But you're dying again, right? Like, you die, then you get a spirit.
And you're nothing.
And then
you become nothing.
And then you're nothing. That sounds like bullshit. Let's go kill the Death Lord.
And Asher, the druid barbarian. Yeah, but I'm asking specifically why Jeff is important to Asher.
It's just the first name. You know what? I don't have to justify this.
Let us recall what happened when we last left our heroes. We were going to try to take some of the food over to the refugee camp and trade it for entry into the city if we could. And you lower Gillik down into the alleyway and then lower yourself down into the alleyway. And now you are inside the walls of Bradmont, and you find Kaolith's chambers. The Kaolith sort of turns to the two of you and says, "Okay, come with me, be respectful." He steps forward and he says, "Your Majesty, may I present to you Jennuvera and Gillik, 2 adventurers from Carapath." And King Evian Redridge turns around. "Prepare yourselves, for this is the tale of Adventure Incorporated." King Evian Redridge turns around, and she sort of looks to you, Gillik, with her violet eyes, and she says, "Ah, yes, you are Elatrix's adventurers, no?"
Yes.
Yes.
It is a pleasure to meet you. I wish it were under better circumstances.
Jennuvera awkwardly tries to curtsy. So, but I imagine that when she goes to, with a curtsy, you put your foot behind your other leg, but it hits her tail. So she kind of just, leans sideways and then just doesn't, it just forgets it.
Anthony,
she's
can you
so
describe,
embarrassed.
Can you describe the room for me just so I have a clear visual of what
Sure. Kaolith's office is sort of a larger space. The walls are lined with bookshelves with all kinds of scrolls and documents and books and things in them. He has a couple of tables set up.
Kaolith's office.
With magical artifacts and some alchemies and things.
What kind of artifacts?
Just little trinkets, little baubles.
Weapons, just trinkets or
No,
weapons?
not weapons. Little trinkets.
No
yeah,
weapons, just
yeah.
trinkets. Little trinkets. Okay, what kind of jewels or like charms?
Yes and yes. A little bit of both.
Yes and yeah. A little bit of both. More jewel, like are there more jewels or
No, like little puzzle boxes and small charms like.
Okay, so cerebral
Yes.
things.
Yeah, they're not like.
Okay, so Kaolith is a cerebral person.
Yeah.
What else is in the room besides artifacts?
Along one of the tables, there is a map of New Merida that he has spread out. That
Okay.
he's got like all kinds of like sheafs of paper and things like that. They're clearly trying to work over this map and try to figure out a plan. And then his desk, his center desk, is like.
So like army stuff's like Strategos.
Yeah, not exactly armies, but definitely like there's definitely a big map. Like it's still important to them. The back wall, back wall of this room is a large pane, like several panes of glass. Like it overlooks the city, and he has a desk stationed right in front of it. The center of the room is where you guys have portaled in and out of before. It's an anchor portal.
Oh, okay. Is it like a stone slab, kind of like that you walk onto? Like that's what I'm thinking, or is it like a door? Is there like a doorway thing?
No, it's like it's a stone slab inlaid in the floor.
Okay, with like some runes on it and shit. Are any of the runes on that portal thing familiar to me?
Only the rune for conjuration. Kaolith says, Her Majesty is here, but the King Greywood doesn't exactly know, and I don't know that he would be pleased that she was here, so I would ask that you keep this to yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Of
yes, of course, Your Majesty.
She says, yes, it is unfortunate, but Paraneth has fallen. The kingdom has been overrun, destroyed, more or less. And I find myself a king with no place to rule. Thankfully, Kaolith here has been kind enough to let me stay here for a little bit and try to figure out what we can do next against the lizard folk in the knoll. Without the support from the rest of the kingdoms, we, unfortunately, failed.
I am so sorry.
Thank you. I wish... My only regret is that Elatrix was not alive to help see us through this.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I know that this isn't the right, time to say it, but I think you're really cool. I think you're amazing. So that's out of the way.
She smiles, and Gillik, for the first time, you notice that she has fangs.
Gillik goes, oh, hello.
Oh my god. Yikes. Okay, so forgive us because we've been doing some stuff for a while. So we've kind of been out of the loop. Does King Greywood know that Paraneth has fallen?
I suspect that he knows, yes.
Okay. And you have reached out to him to see if he would be willing to discuss. So my name is Jennuvera. Oh, Kaolith already said that. I'm sorry. This is, Gillik too already. Well, we've been introduced. Okay, so we're here right now because we are trying to get King Greywood to reunite the kingdoms. It is more important than ever, especially now knowing about Paraneth, which again, I am so sorry for.
The short answer is we need to keep things together. Jennuvera, please continue.
No, that's it. You said the short. Yep, that's it.
There's a knock at the door, but a specific knock. It sort of like sounds like a pattern knock, like a. And then Kaolith nods and moves over to the door and lets Heinrich in.
When Gillik hears the knock, he holds his right because the shield's on his back right now, but he holds his hand open to like summon the hammer, just in case, like a little bit of purpley blue energy kind of starts to charge when he hears the weird knock.
Okay, yeah, but it's Heinrich who gets let in, and he shuts the door behind him. He's like, "Carter told me you were here. What's going on?" And Kaolith says, "They're here to convince Greywood to reunite the kingdoms."
We're not here to convince anyone of anything. We're
here
to talk.
Yes, we are.
No.
Yes, no.
We don't convince people of things. We communicate ideas. We don't. No convincing.
Gillick's gonna put on a TED Talk.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Jennuvera's gonna
I don't
kind
like
of
the
like
word convince people. I don't like convincing people of things.
Okay, Jennuvera says, yes, we are going to discuss the options with Greywood, and from that discussion, he will understand that reuniting the kingdoms is the only way forward.
You see like an awkward glance between Heinrich and Kaolith. And then Kaolith says, I really think that what you're asking to do here just feels like it's probably unlikely.
We have to try.
We actually have to try. This is important. That's why I don't care about convincing anyone. We just need to talk. That's it.
Heinrich says,
that's how important this is.
I understand that it's important, and I agree. The problem is that, unfortunately, the king has taken counsel from someone who we are having a difficult time seeing eye to eye with.
So let's go talk to them. I don't care who the king.
I care who it is. Who is it?
Thank you, Jennuvera.
This is where it's going to get really awkward. Maybe you guys should sit down.
If you say Clyde, can you just not? Because I don't think I can take it.
Clyde? No. Oops, sorry.
Okay, then anything you say is fine.
No. If it were Clyde, we'd be in a much better position here. Clyde is one of the ones pushing hard for us to reunite this kingdom, although the trust factor with Clyde is not super high. And you see sort of Evian sort of like shuffle her feet a little bit.
Jennuvera's eyes go wide.
She's like, you may find that someone who cemented their own kingship to be one we're less than willing to trust.
Okay.
No.
How do you mean?
Well, Kaolith sort of steps in. He says, well, it is seen that Clyde, who sort of wrote the laws for his own succession and then executed the previous king, is seen as a power usurper. And while what he did is legal within his own kingdom, it is a strain on relations with the other kings.
I get that. I'm sorry for reacting. We know Clyde very well, so it's, difficult to see the objective outside perspective, but I respect and understand that.
Heinrich says, nobody, more than me, understands that getting rid of the Lady of Knives was essential for Carapath. I haven't gone back to Clyde because I feel like there's a lot of work to do to try to smooth that over. I think time is going to heal wounds on this one. But I also, there's not much I can do for him there. There's more I can do for him here.
Cool. So who is Greywood taking advice? I'll sit down, but I can handle anyone now.
Just before you're not the one I'm worried about. Just before the kingdoms split apart, before Greywood made his announcement. He had apparently connected up with a faction of the church that was a little out of favor and has promoted to one of his advisors one of their higher-ups. He goes by Umris Erdrad.
I'm sorry, what?
As far as I can tell,
Come again.
It's your father,
Say that name again.
Umris Erdrad.
God fucking damn it.
I'm sorry.
Gillik takes a sip from his flask.
I don't know what's going on with him, but he is fanatically devoted to this blood religion of his, this worship of Iora that is beyond. They burned the church of the court, the divine court in this city. They burned it to the ground and built a temple of the blood god in its place.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to kill my fucking father. Okay. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I can't believe this is on top of this is happening.
Kaolith says, maybe, hold on, maybe this is good.
Please spin this in a positive direction for me, thank you.
Maybe you can speak to him. Maybe you can convince him that this is, we are on the wrong path now, and that we must work to get on to the right path. Perhaps your words will stir him.
I'm gonna steer him to the right. All right, what's the right path? Making sure the kingdoms are together, right? That's the right path.
That's
Yes.
what we believe.
Yeah.
All right. And you're telling me my father's...
We think the blood cult may be taking advantage of the confusion and disarray of the splitting of the kingdoms. It has weakened the power of the church considerably to have the kingdoms split apart. And so they have an opportunity to gain a foothold while the church scrambles to find its power base. Obviously not the true power of the church, but the political power of the church.
No, I know what you're saying. I need to think about this. I'm not... Jennuvera, your thoughts, please. I need something.
I think that sometimes sometimes our parents do things that we might not agree with or understand, like Gebetto's parents stealing all of his town away, or my dad putting some corrupt dragon blood in me, but I think it's important that we see that we're still family, and that our power of understanding each other is far greater than anyone else's could be. So if there's anyone that's, maybe, when Gebetto talked to his parents, he saw he was able to talk to them and convince them to help. Right? We got everyone free from the order.
That's what we did. We did it. I was there.
So,
We were there.
people's minds can be changed from the power of family.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Evian is looking at you with some interest.
Who?
Jennuvera.
Hell yeah. Oh, gosh. Just forget that oh gosh. Sorry, I was just talking to my friend. That was a hypothetical, like that, I was talking about a dragonborn friend that I had, whose dad, put corrupt black dragon. She's gone. She's not here. She's definitely not me.
Hold on.
Fucking Christ.
Evian just sort of nods and steps back to the table to refocus on what's happening.
Oh, God. Anyway, Gillik, I think you can convince your dad to help.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's going to be tough. That fucker's stubborn, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. So that is an option for us to try before we attempt to speak with Greywood. My fear now is that while we are still advisors to Greywood, he listens to your father more than anyone, significantly so, and unless you can convince your father that this is the right course of action, and honestly, I'm not really sure what we're even proposing here. I find it difficult that an alliance now would be possible without some form of war. While Greywood may be on board, to get King Kaolith or King Garhand to agree to a reunification seems unlikely at best.
Well, we've got to try.
Can't argue with that.
The King Redridge says, seems we were very close to maybe not having to worry about King Kaolith, but that particular action did not have the follow-through it required.
Sorry. So, where do we go from here? What do we do?
Well, me and my advisors are doing our best here to try and figure out somewhere to go. I don't know that we are welcome in Bradmont, but Kaolith was the first I could think of. Perhaps we could find another place to set up for now, but we may just be stuck moving from place to place until we can figure out a way to deal with the lizard folk and the gnolls in the long term.
Sorry, those guys have so many things to deal with. I need some kind of diagram chart. I need something. I need so many things to keep track of all this. Oh my goodness.
If you can speak to your father, if you can convince him, then maybe that is our next course of action.
Let's do that. Let's go talk to my dad. Let's go do that and take care of that. We'll check that off the list, and then...
How did you guys get in the walls?
Ooh.
Why does that matter? What matters is talking to my dad right now.
Wait, I would actually like to share that, though.
All right, that's
so I have a new... I can do a new spell, and I can move people with my mind.
I'm still not... That's fine. That's not really what I meant. I'm still not totally sure what you guys are, here for.
Jennuvera's a little disappointed.
Heinrich's, just super not impressed.
She just wants people to think she's, God,
Kaolith,
all she wants...
Kaolith looks impressed. Heinrich does not.
That's enough. That's enough for now.
So we'll get to that in a second. But Heinrich's just yeah. What I mean is what brought you guys here? What are you doing here?
We had some stuff happen.
Okay.
Just kind of found ourselves here.
Yep.
Okay. Fine.
Yep. That's
Kaolith steps forward and he says, "How many pounds did you do with telekinesis?"
Hey, Gillik, how many pounds do you weigh?
How many pounds? I think I'm 190 now.
This was your first. This was your first attempt.
Yeah.
And you threw 190 pounds of Gillik over a wall.
Yes, and myself.
Wow, impressive.
Dense
Very
dwarf
impressive.
Muscle.
Thank you.
Okay, one time I managed to get up to 370 pounds. It was...
What?
It was only for a few seconds, and the spell broke. My concentration faded away from me, but...
Oh my gosh.
It was very exciting.
Did it feel like your mind was just like crunching?
Like strain, like so much strain.
Oh yeah, plus all the plate mail. You're bragging about 365. That's how much I weigh without my armor on and all my shit.
So Jennuvera probably did more than 190, closer to maybe like 250.
Yeah, probably a little bit more than that. Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very
Big lie.
impressive for your first use. That's so well done.
Maybe when we're out of all this, we can like hang out and do magic together.
Oh yes, and I can tell you about my idea for renaming the ages. I think that this should probably be the 4th age and not the 3rd. But that's
no, that's I think cool.
Evian like sort of goes like, and he says, yes, later, and he sort of like moves over to some paperwork that he's got, and he says, we're working on trying to find a permanent place for Evian to sort of, excuse me, Your Majesty, King Redridge. She says, Kaolith, please, I know there are people here, it's fine. He says, we're trying to find a more permanent place for our king to find a space. For now, we just need to keep her safe. Do you know anywhere we can keep her safe?
Of course, we can. You can always stay at Adventure Incorporated.
Yeah. Are you kidding? That's not even a question.
She says,
Go there, you'll be taken care of.
how quickly can we get there?
Well, okay.
Kaolith says, oh, we have an anchor. We formed an anchor there.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Jennuvera looks at Gillik and says, "Is Clevin gonna be okay?"
Clevin?
Yeah. So okay. Long story super short.
Elaborate,
We
yeah.
found a farmer who was helping. Who actually Klug was there, enforcing protecting his farm, and so that's where Gebetto, Asher, and Keth are. They took Klug back to Adventure Incorporated, and we stayed as kind of the muscle for Clevin because we felt bad leaving him unprotected. Maybe we could send like a guard to his farm to help him out. Can we do that?
I don't really have the guards to spare, but we could bring Clevin and his family inside the walls if that was helpful.
Yes, that would be amazing. If that's cool with him, that would be so good.
And I will send King Redridge will probably have to do some things here to get prepared. But once she is ready, I will send her through to Adventure Incorporated, and she will be there when you guys inevitably arrive or need to return.
Okay. Yeah. Great. They'll take care of you.
Okay.
I was gonna say ask for Clyde, because he's in charge of everything, but he's not anymore. So ask for well, the guys will be back. They'll know.
She says, yes, I'll need a few days to prepare. We're spread out a little bit here, and I need to get my advisors back. But once everyone is back together, we will head through. Thank you. I appreciate it, and we will speak again.
Yes. And Jennuvera kind of tries to half curtsy again.
She goes to move out of the room, and she sort of stops just before you, and she says, would you take a walk with me, Jennuvera?
Yes.
And so she sort of turns back and just continues to walk.
I follow her.
Okay. She moves out into the hallway. She says, we must move swiftly through the hallway. If I ran into King Greywood here, it would be a great burden. I do not wish to hurt Kaolith in any way. He has been very kind. And for many years I have known him, and he has helped me many times. So we will move swiftly. She's sort of moving past this area. She says, there are many... When I first took the crown, there were many who saw my affliction as something to fear, as a danger, as a corruption to the throne. As you might imagine, being what I am, there is an affinity toward, well, blood. And people's perception of our need for consumption is a difficult one for people to understand. If what you say about this friend of yours and their blood corruption is true, it would be something I think that we may be uniquely qualified to look into and help you with. I don't know the extent of what is going on, and perhaps a longer conversation needs to be had, but if there is something that we can do to help, will you accept our help in this?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Perhaps as payment for housing me and my advisors as we try and figure out what we can do for our people and our land.
Oh my gosh, we wouldn't even ever ask for any type of repayment for helping you, but I still will take that.
Nonsense. We can't simply take from our people. That's the point of all of this, I think. But regardless, if there is something we can do to help, allow us to look into it in some capacity. I will speak with my advisors who are more experienced with afflictions like this, and perhaps there is something we can do to look into this corruption.
That would be amazing. So it's affecting all of the black dragons, and my father was actually trying to fix it, and that's how sorry, it's not a friend, it's me. I thought I was going to be in trouble. Which is why, you understand.
I know.
Okay. Of course you do. No, you're not dumb. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're just so cool. So he actually, in trying to fix the corruption in the Black Dragons, he gave me Black Dragon blood. So it's a part of me, and he died before he could fix it. I have a lot of his notes and things if you think that would maybe help.
I certainly do not think it would hurt. What I would ask of you right now may be painful, but could I take some of your blood with me?
Yes.
If it is truly corrupt, I do not wish to use it for anything, but to have some to try and understand its magical properties might be useful.
Yes, of course. You can... Jennuvera kind of just, throws out her arms, awkwardly. Whatever you need. And she puts them down and feels weird and dumb.
King Evian sort of holds up her hand for your hand.
I give her my hand.
She, reaches up, and she takes a thumbnail and just kind of, presses it against your, against your wrist, and sort of digs in with it until some blood begins to well up. And she takes a small vial of blood out of her pouch at her hip, and she uncorks it and drinks it down, and then fills the vial with your blood, and recorks it and puts it in a different pocket. She says,
"That's it?
That'll do for now. I apologize for the wound."
Oh, it's okay.
I will see what I can learn from this, and like I said, perhaps we can talk more at another time.
I would like that. I hope that you're comfortable at Adventure Incorporated.
Thank you. And she just turns and walks away.
So I just want you to know that everything that was going through Jennuvera's mind during that, as she started talking about it, was that she was going to become a vampire because they were going to drain her blood and give her new blood, and that was fixing it. And then she realized that Evian meant actually fixing the corruption, not just fixing me. But then she felt really embarrassed of even thinking that. Yep. I just wanted to give you a little snippet into the journal thoughts.
Okay. So you head back into Kaolith's office, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Jennuvera, you're back. Good.
Yes.
This is a real mess. Even if we can figure out a way to convince your father to tell Greywood that we need to unite the kingdoms again, I'm just not sure how we go about this. The peace that was between the kingdoms was always tenuous. If you ask Elatrix, he says,
Under what? What was the tension from?
the way the Blade War ended was not equitable for the kingdoms. In reality, Elatrix pushed his will. He made deals with people personally, and those kings took him up on them. But the people who took over for those kings and the people who took over for them, they did not see these arrangements as beneficent for their kingdoms. They saw them as hurdles. Garhand, Kaolith, these are people who wish to exploit their positions, who wish to use their people in a way that the correlation between the kingdoms was not allowing. Now, I don't think that that's true for Greywood. He understands what it means to be a king, and his people are his first priority, but I think Greywood was scared. We got this visitor a few years ago now.
Okay, hang on. I need 3 sentences from you of the most important points. Go. 3 short sentences of everything you just said. I need a summary.
The summary is this. Elatrix made the kingdoms stay together. Without Elatrix...
Okay, Elatrix was the linchpin.
Without Elatrix, nothing held together anymore. And I don't know how we could force the kingdoms back together. That's not really how it works.
Why did everyone unite behind Elatrix? What made Elatrix the focal point?
He made deals with the old kings. He personally, forced the situation by knowing those personalities and working them to his advantage. And after that, he ruled because everyone else fell in line, and no one person could go against him. Once he was gone...
So he negotiated. He made appropriate deals at the appropriate times. Okay. What are we worried about? Let's go do this.
Because my fear now is that the people who hold these positions, Kaolith says, they aren't ones to negotiate. They aren't looking for... They got what they wanted. What they wanted was the kingdom split. It's not impossible. I just don't know what we need.
Okay. We need to come up with a reason that everyone wants to keep the kingdom together. Everyone. Not just the kingdoms, the people. We need a reason that the people want to keep the kingdoms together.
People fundamentally are, and I think the kings fundamentally to a degree, varying degrees, care about their people. I think that...
Well, yeah, why wouldn't they? If they don't, then we're in trouble. Then we're in trouble.
And
then I'm going with
I think
people.
you can make an argument with a few of them, but I think ultimately most of these kings care for their people, and it is their people that I think that is our avenue. I think we need to try and convince them that this is in the best interest of their kingdoms. Again, I think that will work for the kings we already have on our sides in this. I don't know if you can convince King Kaolith and King Garhand that some threat is bigger than them having the run of their kingdoms the way they want it. King Kaolith especially
I don't want them to... No.
I agree,
No.
Gillik.
Okay. Cool.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
If 4 out of the 6 kings were in agreement, would they be able to hold a council and get the majority?
At this point, the law is not really clear on this. In reality, probably not. In reality, a new forge would need to be, or a new bond would need to be forged. If 4 kings got together and made a declaration, that is a strong statement in a time where if we could, support sending any sort of military force but with the world falling apart as it is, I don't even know that we could make a show of strength to try and draw the other 2 in.
Okay. You were about to say earlier that you had a visitor.
Oh, yes.
A few years back.
A few years back, while Heinrich wasn't here yet, but a few years back we had a visitor come to the court, and I really think he poisoned the king's outlook on the kingdoms as a whole. He spoke of betrayal and of turning against one another. I think he pointed Greywood toward the way that these blood cultists reinforced.
Was his name Gorm?
I don't know his name. He came as some sort of wanderer and a traveler. Do you think it was possible that was Gorm the dragon that we're facing?
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
we just went through a thing where we learned a lot about Gorm, and one of the things that he has attempted to do as he's gone from world to world to world is disband the kingdoms. So he plants those seeds, and that makes New Merida's attack against him weaker. And we did see him go to King Greywood before.
Well, then it appears he succeeded this time in that regard. And now Paraneth has fallen. I haven't heard any news from Ishtara from Vedris specifically in weeks.
That's not great. Have you reached out, or you just haven't heard from King Harriman?
I get regular reports typically, and I have not gotten those reports. Now, it could be that the orcs are taking our scouts, who are running the reports. It could be other interference, but it is still disconcerting.
Yeah.
Right now, unfortunately, the 2 kingdoms least affected by the world falling apart like this are Emberfall and Varina. Our 2...
Yeah, and that doesn't bode well for someone like Greywood seeing that we need to get the kingdoms back together, because he sees that it's working for them.
Yes, Paraneth falling, Ishtara silent, Carapath being beset by the undead as they become more and more bold. These are issues. And then on our own doorstep, the orcs are unrelenting. That is an issue we need to deal with. They are coming in force larger and larger, and we know there are more out there. We've seen the reports that there are many out there, and that they seem to be amassing more and more influence with other organizations. A group of druids of some kind have joined them, and it seems like some of these orcs have powers they shouldn't have. Deep, old, ancient powers.
Whoa, say that again. I want to know more about that.
Powers people shouldn't have interest
Something about communing with gods of orcs, orcish gods. I don't know anything about it.
Gillik,
like
remember the orcs we fought with Redridge? And they had the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Redridge. I miss you. Anyway.
Ultimately, these are the factors that are working against us. These are the things that will come up if you try and convince Greywood, or even your father, perhaps, although I don't know his motivation in this. But if you are ready to try, we can send you to him now.
I can't think of anything else to do. Yeah, let's just do it. Get it done.
Heinrich leads the 2 of you out of the palace down past Omen, who seems to have sort of chilled the crowd out. Carter nods to you guys as you go by. And he takes you...
Jennuvera gives him a thumbs up.
He takes you guys down to the site of the Temple of the Blood God. So the Temple of the Blood God is built over basically the remains of the burnt out Church of the Divine Court that was here in Bradmont, or here in Mare Glade, because there are other churches, other places in the country, but this was sort of like the central cathedral for Bradmont, and it's you can still see the rubble like around the outside of this temple. There are large crimson tapestries hanging off the walls of the temple that depict a black stitched vial on the tapestries, and you see some clerics moving about wearing just like crimson outfits with the same symbol stitched into them. He takes you and he says, it's probably best if I don't go in with you. We haven't exactly gotten along, and I don't want to make things bad from the get-go. Hopefully with Gillik, he'll be able to break the ice in a way better than we can.
Hey, Gillik.
Yes.
Do you want to go in alone? Or do you want me to come with you?
Oh, why are you with me? Why would I want? No.
Well, I don't.
We're a team.
Okay.
Let's do this.
It's a very private, emotional thing that you're about to do, and I just want you to know I'm here for you 100%.
And in the last however many, I know that. I know that you're here with me. I know that you're here. And I know that I've spent more time with you than this guy, in the last however many years. So I would, are you kidding? Let's go do this.
Let's go do this.
I hope that says enough.
You guys push open the double doors into the Temple of the Blood God. Inside,
is there blood pouring down a fountain? Is there a fountain of blood?
There are.
There's a fountain of blood. There better be a fucking fountain of fucking blood.
I wouldn't say a fountain,
God.
but there are 2 troughs of blood that run along the length of the walls of the side of the room.
I'm glad it wasn't exactly what I asked for. I like that.
Good. And the inside here is sparse. Aside from the 2 troughs of blood, the floor has these sort of small pads on the floor for like kneeling on, like stuffed with hay. But otherwise, it is nearly empty in here. At the end of the hall, it's like a big, long, singular room. At the end of the room, kneeling on the dais that is built up there, is unmistakably your father in full armor.
Oh, boy, here we go. Gillik takes a sip from his flask, offers it to Jennuvera.
She gives a little head shake. No, thank you.
It's just a courtesy thing. I know you don't want any. And Gillik takes a sip for her and puts it away.
All right, Dad. What's going on?
Umris sort of like stops what he's doing, lifts his head up, and turns to look at you with his he's got his full helmet and everything on. When he turns to you, there's sort of red paint streaking down from the eyes and from the mouth holes that are just like blood.
Are his eyes like how do his eyes look? What are they? Are they red? Are they black? What's going
when
on
he
with his
turns
eyes?
to look at you?
Is he still on mute?
So he's got the helmet down, so you
Yeah.
can't tell. All you see is sort of like shadow and these the red streaks down the helmet. Umris turns around slowly, and you hear from inside his helmet, you hear like, Gillik?
Hey,
What are you doing here?
how you feeling?
He gets down off the dais and starts to move towards you.
Here to talk.
He walks towards you, and as he gets close, he extends an arm, like a hand, to like clasp hands with you.
Gillik extends his hand. He's like,
Yeah, he reaches out and he sort of like grabs your like your forearm, like in one of those like forearm to forearm grasps.
Yeah.
And his other hand goes to the outside. He says, "Gillik, I'm so happy to see you."
Likewise. Anthony, can I use my land hands ability and spend 5 hit points and do like a scan of his body?
Yeah.
Like not just to like see if not to hurt
No,
him,
no.
not to
Right.
heal him, but to just understand the affliction, or even however many points. Even if it's 5, even if it wants to be more, I'll do 10 points. whatever you
5's
want, I
fine
don't
with
care.
me.
I just want, can I have that ability?
But do a
Alright, cool.
5's
points.
fine with me, but do a wisdom check. Medicine. Do a medicine check.
Okay. Medicine check? Alright, perfect. Let's see. Front. Medicine. Sweet. Natural 20.
Okay.
25.
Okay. So yes, you while your hands are touching, right? While your hand is on his forearm, his is on yours. You spend those sort of that energy to reach out into sort of your whatever your father is dealing with. As you close your eyes and you feel what's over him, first you feel this wash of blood, like your blood sort of heats within you, and all you can see is red, and you know that it's like this sense of like blood, but you push past that. There's something deeper in this, and you can feel it.
Blood is life.
Blood is life, and as you push past this sort of this rush of life, like it really feels like this is the front, and as you push deeper and deeper and deeper, it's almost like a crack, and then the shadow pours out. And so none of this is actually happening. It's all sort of your perception of what is inside.
Yeah. It's just it's my visual interpretation of the internal
And what's
scan.
inside at its very core is that seed of shadow corruption.
Is a seed of shadow corruption. Does the seed of shadow corruption have a shape? What is it? What does the seed look like? What type of seed does it
It is
look
a mass with tentacles.
It's a mass. Gillik looks at his gauntlet and also looks at the back of his medallion, and he's like just double check. He's like, that's
Yes.
what that is.
It is clearly this
That's the
seed of shadow corruption is tied to the Shadow Lord.
Okay, all right. So that shape is the seed of corruption. Okay, so what Gillik's gonna do is again, we are in what I'm visualizing, just like red and blood and a crack.
And when you peered into
And
that
then-
crack, when you looked beyond it, that's when you saw that writhing mass with tentacles.
Okay, so there's a crack. Does it look like a crack next to like a bone mass, a muscle mass, or is it more like a nebulous?
It's more
cloud
nebulous than that,
thing?
because the blood itself is not. It is the force that has taken over your father. It is not his blood. It is the essence, the force of that has overwhelmed him. And at its core, at its very center, it is shadow. There is a deeper darkness to it that has turned his connection to the gods, and it is tied to shadow.
Gillik is going to. What's Gillik going to do? Yeah, this is from Gillik's internal.
Yeah, this is
scan.
just your internal thoughts, and this is all happening in an instant.
all right.
Because you're still holding your father's arm, and he's grasping you, and all he said is, "It's so good to see you."
Gillik is going to spend. So what Gillik's going to do is so he grabs one hand into the scan. He's going to take his left hand and turn his dad's hand over and put it over so that the symbol is facing up, and then he's going to spend 9 hit points, 1 for each tentacle and 1 for the center of mass. And he's not going to think about anything. He's going to think about the energy in that shape, in that crack, and just think about 9 hit points going exactly in that shape, in that crack.
Stand by.
Standing by.
All right, ready, Gillik? So here's what I'm
Right,
doing.
do it.
Just so you know, I have 2d10. I am going to roll a percentile
Yep. Awesome.
to
I love
determine what happens here.
it. Up to chance. You just flip a coin like
Well-
Shagor.
A coin wouldn't be.
Tails,
a
well
coin would
done.
not be nuanced enough for what we're doing. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So you drain those 9 points away, and you push them into that sort of that crack, right? That metaphysical representation to you. What that means. You push them into that
conceptual.
seed. And you see, like, your actual sight in the real world, you see your father sort of, like, bristle a little bit, but not, he clearly doesn't know what's happening, but he just sort of, like, jolts a little and steps, and pulls away slightly. He says,
How you feeling?
I'm feeling fine. Why have you come?
Yeah? Well, see how you're doing. You're my family. I don't know. Is that weird? I didn't excuse
I
to see
didn't
my
even
dad.
know you knew I was here.
Well, he's suspicious of your own son.
I'm
What the
not
hell?
suspicious. It's unexpected. It's exciting. Gillik, I have so many things to
Yeah,
tell
right.
you.
I know. Why are you hanging out in a blood god cult? What's going on?
You don't understand, Gillik. This
You serve the divine court. Why one blood
the divine court is
blood's everywhere. What
yesterday.
does it matter?
That is it is
it's
a
not. No,
perversion
it's not.
of the truth.
Dad. Did you see anything? Did you have any symbols in your mind just now? Did anything just float through your head as we were shaking
Yes,
hands? Did you see
Yeah,
anything in your
happiness.
mind?
I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah. Did it look like this? Did it look like this? And he shows the symbol on his hand. Did it look
What
like
is that?
Did you see that little squiggles
No, I see it now.
on my arm? All right, and he it looks, and then he's like, Dad, you remember this medallion that you gave me? Remember this medallion that you gave
Yes.
me? Yeah. He flips it over. Is that symbol? Does that look familiar
No.
to you?
Gillik, what's going on with you?
Dad, I just need you to remember this. I need you to look at this. I just look at this circle with 8 squiggles coming out of it, kind of like in 4 different directions, or 8. Yeah, you know. What I'm saying.
Okay.
I need you to remember that. I need you to look at that and remember that. That's the Shadow Lord.
Oh.
And I want you to think about it as a shadow being a connection. I just need you to remember this. That's all I need you to do. I just need you to do this for me. It's a connection.
Okay.
And if you see that, I need you to think of me.
Okay. The Shadow Lord. What does that mean?
Well, so you know how you're hanging out in a blood god cult?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. What's your like blood god symbol? Like what do you look at?
The blood god. This cult is not a cult. It is the true version of this religion.
It's a cult.
It is what. It is
a
how
cult.
Iora was worshipped in days
Blood
past.
cult. It's trying to separate itself from everything. It's trying to
Gillik, listen to me.
change things in a way that doesn't
No,
work.
the change has already occurred. The change is when the church became
yeah,
more
that
concerned with politics than it did the gods. The change happened.
Yeah, and now it's more concerned with the gods than it is the
That's what
politics.
this is.
And more specifically, this one god. It can't be doing that. It's got to be all the gods.
If
all
the
of them.
other gods wish to have
Iora
their
can't
own,
be all over, and you know it's true. You know it's true.
we worship Iora
it's true.
the way Iora is meant to be
Iora
worshipped.
is a part of the what, Dad?
The court, but the court is not an entity.
The court. Iora's part of the court. And no one's above the court, and you know that. No one's above
Gillik.
the court. None of the gods.
No
None of them.
one,
No one is above the court.
and no man is above the court either. We have people
Yeah.
down.
So why are you trying to say Iora's above the court?
Iora is not above the court.
It's a corruption. The blood is a corruption. It's not Iora. It's trying to divide the divine court from within. Can't happen. Can't let that happen. You can't have one of the divine court like in any manner out of balance with any of the other ones. Can't have that. All of the divine court has to be together or it doesn't work.
Do you know there used to be more gods on the divine court?
You made me study them. Of course I did.
Dead ones, long gone.
Yeah, except that you remember them.
Except they are no longer.
They
no longer give power.
I disagree. I disagree to that.
I was hoping you could understand. I was hoping you, of all people, Gillik, would understand that there is truth in strength and power. When we get these gifts from Iora, it is Iora's will.
Do you know what power without wisdom is? Corruption.
Corruption. Corruption, Gillik. You're gonna look at me the way that you're looking at me right now and talk about corruption? I can smell darkness on you, Gillik. I can see it in your eyes.
I wear mine.
So do I. He pulls his helmet off, and his eyes are coal black, and his face is just streaked from like streaming out with these red veins that just like pull down his whole body. It's much worse than the last time that you saw him. Now it is just nothing but these deep, dark crimson veins. And he says, I wear mine openly too, Gillik. I have changed. I have been changed by Iora. If it was not Iora's will, this power would come from nowhere. It would be like one of those dead gods who sits dead and grants nothing. This is different.
You know they're not dead.
Then where is their strength? Where is the power they lend to the people? It is gone from this world. This is not gone, Gillik. This is strength. This is power. And if I have to show you with my blade, I will. But I don't think I have to. I think you understand that if Iora didn't will this, it wouldn't be. I worship in his name, and this is the strength I am given.
Well, if you represent Iora, and I represent the Divine Court, then I guess the court's gotta keep Iora in check.
What did you come here for, Gillik?
To keep Iora in check. You can't be doing this. Somebody has to represent the Divine Court. Iora can't be above the court. He can't be doing what you're doing. You can't be corrupting the idea of the god.
Corrupting
with
the
anything.
idea of the god.
The court must remain united.
What power do I have over gods? I only give in to what the god gives me. Dungalaris has shown me a better way. He has shown me this path. He can show you too, Gillik. Cast down your politics and your men and their lies. Turn to the gods themselves. Speak with them. Learn what they want. Hear the whispers that we hear. Iora is out there and willing to speak if you are willing to listen.
Iora is on this medallion as well. I also represent Iora.
Have you not heard whispers in your head you must follow, Gillik Erdrad? Have you not heard?
I've heard whispers in my head. I've never said I must follow them.
Well, then that is foolish. We gain power by following those who are willing to lend it to us. Dungalaris has found this path. Ancient, hidden. This is how Iora is meant to be worshipped. This blood that courses through me, this strength. It is forgotten, and we will reawaken it, reignite it, and teach others of its strength.
All right. Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe we can spin this in a different way. Maybe we can integrate Blood Iora into the Divine Court. Can we do that? Is that
I care not for how the other gods are worshipped. That is their call. Iora is to be worshipped this way. And if we must expunge those who worship Iora incorrectly...
Hang on. Time out. No. You're telling me that this one god can only be worshipped in this one way?
Those who have worshipped Iora as a god of light and a god of order they are the ones who have corrupted its vision. They have removed what they see as some sort of unsavory element to make their position among men higher, to make their position stronger. That is not how you worship a god. You don't bend a god to be what you want it to be. You follow what the god wants to be. And that's what we have done.
But a god is nothing without its worshippers. A god, or I shouldn't say worshippers. I like the term patron or whatever. I don't know. But the idea is that the more people you have involved in the idea of a god, the more power the god has. The only way to truly end a god is to get rid of every single worshipper. And not just that, get rid of every single trace of the idea of that god.
And I am telling you, there are gods now that has happened for. Ones even you and I don't remember. Ones that have been fully expunged from this land. And I will not allow the teachings of Iora that were originally part of his church to go that same way.
As the times change and the people change, the worship of the gods changes. It just does. That's the way it is. That's just the way it is.
I refuse to accept that, Gillik.
You can worship in your way. Just stop making everybody else worship in, your
I am not forcing it.
No one cares.
I am just expunging those who worship incorrectly.
No, you can't be saying people be worshiping. You can't say that those words don't exist. Worshipping incorrectly is not a correct is not a sentence. There's no wrong way to worship it. Well, actually, that's not true. I have to think about this. We're gonna get metaphysical. No, that's not true. God. Now I opened a can of worms. Here, what have I done? What have I done? I knew I shouldn't have done this with my dad. Jennuvera, I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
I opened up a can of worms with my dad. Now my anxiety's riding up, and now I can't believe I'm doing this again. This is why I don't talk to him anymore. Oh my god.
Jennuvera says,
pulls out his flask.
the kingdoms.
Who is this?
This is Jennuvera.
Oh, hi.
You will treat her with respect.
Hi, Gillik's dad.
He says, I am Umris Erdrad.
my
I am
teammate,
the
my
first
partner.
patriarch of the Blood Church of Iora. And
I am Jennuvera Warrior Dardendrian, first of me.
okay.
Yep. Nope. Jennuvera hates
fine.
this.
Gillik also hates this.
Why have you come here, Jennuvera?
Gillik and I are partners in adventuring, and we came to talk to you maybe about since you're just kind of like looking at Gillik. We believe that the kingdoms are better together, and we're hoping that we might be able to understand that you actually believe the same thing as we do, that the kingdoms should reunite.
The kingdoms together were weak.
Okay.
There was too much.
What? That's just bad math. That's actually bad math, and you educated me. This is not a blood shit. What are you putting in that blood shit? What are you
Gillik.
drinking?
Look around. Look
Father.
at this place now.
I'm looking at it. It's full of blood and dust and a diseased-looking
Not
old
this
man.
room. I mean this world. Look at this world now. When the kingdoms were together, the weakest, everyone was brought to the weakest level. We had to support people who could not support themselves.
There is the glass slippers argument. I acknowledge that. However, there is such a thing as divide and conquer, and I don't want that to happen.
The strong will survive this. And the weak, like
Yes, they will,
Pereneth,
and we need to make sure everyone is strong. You don't make sure dumb. You don't make sure the strong survive by killing all the weak. That's stupid.
When the strong survive, they can take what is rightfully theirs, and their rule, the correct rule, will reign. The
What?
system was
Stop it.
standing in the
Blood
way.
cult.
It is not
Bad.
about the...
Divine Court has spoken.
This is not about the blood cult, Gillik. This is about the kingdoms.
Yes, it is. You are corrupted. What are you? What? Where did you get this stuff? Whatever it is.
From...
Whatever is running through your veins, I can see it. It actually looks unhealthy. You look unhealthy.
Let me show you. Will you accept me showing you?
I want you to tell me what's going on. I want you to tell me why you look like this now, and what exactly the blood cult is.
He steps over to the wall, and he pushes in on a hard shove and slides the stones aside. Behind it is a cauldron of blood. This blood seems to glow with a...
Glowing cauldron of blood.
Yes, with like a red light that sort of shines up out of the cauldron. He takes a chalice and dips it down into the blood. And he steps forward towards you, and he says, "Drink of this. It is not a pact. By doing so, you do not become one of us, but you can see the truth. And with the truth, then you will be armed appropriately with answering to our higher power."
Gillik will use the divine sense.
When you use divine sense, the blood
Yes.
gives off a harmony.
A harmony of sense, of odors.
Not odors. You feel that sound that you feel when you are looking at something that is good. This blood...
Like divine sense says, this shit's awesome. This is the shit.
Yes.
That's what my divine sense says. This is the good stuff.
Yes.
And I look at my dad and look at him, and he's all red and veiny and
he's
black-eyed.
like, you can smell that corruption on him when you have the divine sense up.
It's okay. So divine sense, he smells like corruption.
But for whatever reason, the
goblet.
goblet is resonating.
Yeah, Gillik's like, I ain't touching that shit.
He says, "Drink,
Like,
Gillik."
Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. My divine senses are off. No way. I'm not. No way.
Then you'll never understand. I am offering you knowledge. I am offering
Looking
you.
at you, I'm not looking to understand.
I am offering you truth.
You are offering me something that is bypassing something that should not be bypassing the divine court. This is Gillik. Gillik empties his flask and pours whatever he can into his flask for later to get. Well, Gillik wants to get that to Adnan fast.
Okay, yeah, you take the goblet from him and you dump it into your flask.
Yep.
He sort of looks confused.
Gillik's gonna start carrying vials and shit. Gillik's like,
He takes the...
Where did you get the ingredients for this? Where did this come from? Gillik starts like,
This is
Jennuvera.
the blood of our god.
Notes, all the notes you can, everything you
This
get.
is the blood of our god. You may speak with him.
This is the blood of our god?
This is
All
the
right,
blood
cool.
of Iora. It is divine.
Jennuvera, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Jennuvera
you have a question. Go
raises
ahead.
her hand.
Hi.
Would you call it
Gillik's back.
his essence?
Perhaps.
Huh. Jennuvera takes notes.
It is the blood of our god. It would let you speak with Iora. I am... Jennuvera, you may partake if you are so inclined. I am urging you to please speak with the god. Let them make the case.
Gillik's gonna do something weird and just gonna take a guess and gonna go, you know what, fuck it. Gillik is gonna take his medallion on his neck. He's going to cast... maybe he's gonna cast a spell. Maybe he's gonna... You know what, pause. Give me a second. What can I do? Okay. First thing Gillik's going to do is going to cast Protection from Evil and Good on Jennuvera. just in
Okay.
case. It lasts
Yep.
for 10 minutes. I'm going to cast Sanctuary on myself.
Okay.
It says, until the spell ends, any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack or harmful spell must first make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack spell. No protected. Okay, yeah.
Perfect,
Okay,
yep.
cool. Yep, so I'm just, yep, and then anything else? Can I do anything else? No.
Okay, so I like this. So you quickly like pass over a protection of evil and good. You sort of imbue
Yep.
yourself with this divine sanctuary.
Yep. And then what I'm going to do is... Do you remember off the top of your head what Turn the Unholy does?
As an action, you present your holy symbol, speak a prayer, censuring fiends and undead.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast all those spells, and then I'm going to use my holy symbol, which is my medallion. My medallion is my holy symbol. I'm going to as I'm doing Turn the Unholy, I'm going to dunk that medallion into the cauldron.
Gillik? He turns. He's like, he sees you moving. He's not like stopping you, but he's like following behind you. Gillik, please drink from the chalice. So then you.
Gillik, if necessary, hits expeditious retreat and goes boom. I am turning that unholy shit right now.
So you slam your pendant down into the blood.
I'm holding on to it with both hands. I want to say this. My right hand is over the front of all of the gods. The Shadow Lord's on the back and the front, and then I'm both hands and the medallion in. Turn the unholy into the cauldron.
So you can't. Okay. So you slam it down in. You turn unholy.
Yep.
Hey adventurers, DM Anthony here again. I just want to remind you that there are lots of ways to support the show. Head on over to patreon.com/adventureinc. Tell your friends about the show. Rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Links and more can be found at adventureinc.podbean.com. Thanks everyone, we'll see you next week.